Hey folks, Roy here, and before we get into it, if you're new to this channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and give this video a like, because we're breaking down real home inspection findings in plain English every single week, and you don't want to miss what's coming. Alright, let's get into it. Today we're talking electrical, because when a home inspector starts pointing at your electrical panel and rattling off words like reverse polarity, double tap breakers, and DIY wiring, I know that sounds like your house is one spark away from a disaster movie. It is not. Most of the time, these are common fixable findings, and I want to walk you through exactly what they mean so you can read your inspection report without your heart racing. Let's start with reverse polarity. This is one of the most common electrical findings out there, especially in older homes, but you'll see it in newer construction too. Every standard outlet has a hot wire and a neutral wire, and they're supposed to connect to very specific terminals, hot to the smaller slot, neutral to the larger slot. Reverse polarity means somewhere along the line during installation, those wires got connected backwards. Now, here's the good news. Most of the time, this doesn't cause your lamp or your phone charger to stop working. Your devices will still function, but it does create a safety risk because it can leave the outer casing of a plugged-in device like a lamp socket energized when it shouldn't be, which raises your risk of shock. The fix, though, is genuinely simple. An electrician can correct reverse polarity outlet by outlet, usually in just a few minutes each for a very reasonable cost. This is not a rewire your whole house situation. It's a quick correction. Next, let's talk about double tap breakers. Now this one sounds serious, and it can be a real issue, so let's break it down properly. A breaker in your panel is designed, generally speaking, to have one wire connected to it. A double tap means two wires got connected to a single breaker, which the breaker isn't rated to safely handle in most cases. Why does this happen? Usually it's because at some point someone added a new circuit, maybe for a new outlet, an appliance, a room addition, and instead of adding a properly sized new breaker, they just tapped into an existing one to save time or money. It's one of the most common findings inspectors report, especially in homes with any kind of DIY history or additions over the years. Here's what you need to know. Not every double tap is dangerous, but it does need to be evaluated. Some breakers are actually rated for 2 wires. You'll see that noted right on the breaker itself. But when a breaker that's only rated for 1 wire has 2, that's a fire risk because it can create loose connections and excess heat over time. The fix here is usually straightforward too. An electrician adds a proper tandem breaker rated for double connections or splits that circuit onto its own dedicated breaker. Again, this is a call an electrician fix, not a call a lawyer fix. Now let's talk about DIY wiring, because this is the one that gets flagged more than almost anything else. And for good reason, a whole lot of homeowners over the years have taken it upon themselves to add an outlet, run a new circuit, or wire up a ceiling fan without pulling a permit or having a licensed electrician do the work. Sometimes it's done just fine, but a lot of times inspectors find things like wrong gauge wire for the circuit load, wire nuts that aren't properly secured, junction boxes that are missing covers or buried behind drywall where they shouldn't be, or grounding that was never properly connected. When your inspector flags DIY wiring, they're not necessarily saying it's dangerous right this moment. They're saying it wasn't done to code, and code exists for a reason, to make sure electrical work is safe over the long haul, not just functional today. If DIY wiring gets flagged on your inspection, my advice is simple. Get a licensed electrician to evaluate that specific area. Sometimes it's a quick fix, sometimes it's more involved, but either way, you want a professional eyes on it before you assume everything's fine just because the lights turn on. Now let's zoom out for a second because I want to give you some real perspective. Electrical findings are one of the top 3 things inspectors uncover in homes, right up there with roofing issues. That's not because homes are falling apart, it's because electrical systems get modified over decades of ownership, and every single addition, renovation, or quick fix is a chance for something to not quite meet code. Finding these things isn't a sign your home is a lemon. It's a sign your inspector is doing exactly what you're paying them for, catching the details before they become expensive surprises. So here's what I want you to do with all this information. When you get your inspection report and you see electrical findings, don't panic and don't assume the worst. Read what's actually written. Ask your inspector or your agent to explain anything that's unclear, and get a licensed electrician's opinion on anything flagged as a safety concern. Most of these fixes cost a few $100s, not a few thousand, and they make your home safer for years to come. That's a win, not a red flag. Alright, that's it for today's breakdown. If this helped you understand your inspection report a little better, do me a favor and hit that like button. And if you haven't already, subscribe so you don't miss the next one. We've got a lot more of these coming, breaking down exactly what your inspector is telling you and why it matters. I'll see you in the next video.